Now before I begin, I'm going to be talking about RWBY today, so if I offend you in any way, please leave a comment letting me know, because I know this fan base is quite toxic. So let's dive in. 4 girls, red, white, black, yellow. Their names? RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. These 4 are future huntresses in the world of Remnant. Hunters and huntresses are like a trained to fight big black monster
Stop! You violated the law!
Big black monsters called grimm. The 4 are being taught at the prestigious school of Beacon Academy. But before all that, a short history lesson. RWBY was/is a show created in the house at Roosterteeth, an American company responsible for the one and only Halo TV show to ever exist, Red vs. Blue. RWBY was largely written by Miles Luna and Kerry Shawcross, but created by Monty Ohm, a legend in 3D animation and the one responsible for many of the iconic fights in both the original RWBY and Red vs. Blue. Unfortunately, this man passed away in 2015, which would mean RWBY Volume 3 would be the last season he would work on. But the reason I'm saying this is to preface what the new remake is based on. The way Miles and Kerry would write this show was in accordance to the fight scenes that Monty wanted. So Monty made a fight scene, right? Then Miles and Kerry had to figure out how that fight scene would fit into a story. Weird way of doing things, right? Now couple this with both of them being very inexperienced writers, having only worked on Red vs. Blue episodes prior to RWBY. Now this is concerning, right? A show made to showcase fight scenes and have story as an afterthought. It's no wonder RWBY is never talked about when it comes to its writing, but it's always in conversation when it comes to fights. Whereas in the new Studio Shaft created version of RWBY Ice Queendom, the show seems very plot heavy so far, even going to such lengths as to cut out entire fight scenes to make room for the story. Like Penny's Doc showdown with the good old Roman Torchwick, the best RWBY villain by the way, and instead rushing through scenes to get to a new completely original dream plot with this man or woman, I'm not too sure, who for some reason they just don't look like they fit in the world of RWBY. But hey, that's just me. Now I'm not saying that the Ice Queendom's fight scenes don't hold up or anything. I mean, you do see what I'm seeing, right? I mean, look at this. I'm just saying when you focus heavily on one aspect of something, that aspect is obviously going to be the best part, which in old RWBY it was the fights. In Ice Queendom, however, to me so far the world and story actually have me interested just as much as the fights did, which is something RWBY could never do for me before. But something RWBY will always be amazing to me on is the music. I love the original RWBY's music. I've listened to Red Like Roses alone way too many times to count. The way the original uses it from the trailers to the fights in the actual show just make me come. Especially when you can pinpoint the exact moment in the specific song where a character kicks ass in the show and you just get little glimpses of it in your head while rocking out to it to drown out the sounds of your mom yelling at you to get the job. Sorry, I got a bit too into it there, I guess. Luckily for Ice Queendom though, the music is amazing too. When compared to the original, it still stands out very well, and I would go out of my way to listen to it like I did with the original's OST. However, the music does suffer from bad English singing, which can be hard to understand at times, but it's all good. Music is just about the beeps and the boops anyway, right guys? Right guys? It evokes the same feeling, even with the very little amount of music we've gotten our ears on at the moment. Now the new anime reboot or retelling, whatever it is, while being good, as of now with the 3 episodes that are out, probably 4 by the time you see this, maybe 5, it fails at capturing the funny little character quirks such as Ruby Rose destroying this plate of cookies as soon as it's presented to her, or Nora flying up in the air in Nora fashion to deliver the killing blow to this grimm, or us even seeing Jawn being, well, Jawn. And as someone who really enjoys character driven shows, which I believe RWBY tries to be, no matter how many fight scenes you throw at me with gloriously creative weapons and just as creative fight scenes, it'll always be the characters that get me to return to the show. So you can understand my dissatisfaction with the Ice Queen version when I compared it to the original, since it removes some of these moments. It's like melting ice cream. Like, I don't mind that it's melting, it still tastes good, but it could be better if it was just like, you know, not melting. The pacing in this new show has been so fast. Ice Queendom covers all of season 1 in 3 episodes. It really should have been like at least 5 or 6 episodes to really get everything in there, but no. They cut character interactions, fight scenes, fun scenes, all so they could rush through to get to the new stuff. I just hope it's worth it and the writers know what they're doing, because I'm still salty about Penny Boskanovich's cut fight scene here, but I digress. Now I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. I know it's not this guy. The fight scene. This might be considered a controversial take if it was on Twitter, but I'm not. So I'm gonna just say it. The new fight scenes are never gonna be able to stand up the original one. It's just the nature of 2D animation when it's compared to 3D. Let me explain, because I'm in no way calling 2D animation bad. I love it, but when every single fight scene up until season 4 of the original is as creative and well made as it was using 3D technology, something that is much easier to use to animate and is a lot lot faster at it. The poor staff at Studio Shaft are not going to be able to do every fight scene justice. We've already seen it in the first few episodes, the glossed over fight scenes like Penny's and Nora's cool action scene. But when the studio does get to animate a full fight scene, it's glorious. I mean, just look at this RWBY fight. It's amazing, and it clearly took a lot of resources to pull off. But they can't do that every time there is a fight scene. If the staff at Studio Shaft did that, they will never see their families ever again. So expect the action to take a little bit of a backseat or just be entirely cut out. Now we go back to the ice cream analogy. How melted is this new RWBY gonna get by the time it's finished? I hope not too much, because at some point melted ice cream isn't even ice cream, it's just goop. As someone who loves the original RWBY, even knowing all of its faults, I still want to have its core intact for this new series, which I believe it is to be in very good hands with Studio Shaft. They just need to slow down the damn pacing and take a breath, okay? So episode 4 just released while editing this, and it confirmed what I've been saying. The plot with the dreams is being used to further expand on something that the original just glossed over due to the poor writing by these two. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.